Welcome to the Purity Pulse podcast, your go-to podcast for the natural health industry and everything Purity Life. I'm Julie.
And I'm Erin.
And today, Erin, this is quite exciting. We're going to do our weekly check-in, of course. We're going to be interviewing Dan Crosby, the new owner of BioSteel.
So cool. I'm looking forward to this one.
Yes,
It'll be very interesting.
yes. And then we'll close with our What's New to Purity Life.
There you go.
So, Erin, tell me what's happening lately.
You know what? I feel like a lot of people are getting very sick lately. I don't know if you've noticed that in your...
No, absolutely not.
For sure not you. I've noticed that a lot within just circles, friends, colleagues, the whole thing. The stories are just, oh yeah, but this person in my family was sick or this person's sick. And it's not just for a day. Like, this isn't a 24-hour thing. People are getting sick for a week. They're down and out. There's so much going around.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's kind of a stigma behind that, right? We want to hide, I'm sick. Ooh,
I find that
right?
so interesting. I've given that more thought lately, because I think, like, for me, I have to kind of convince myself to not really think about it that way. Because I think... Even as a kid, it was kind of like, well, if you're sick, let's try, you'll be fine. Let's we don't need to go to the doctor very last. And it almost felt, you almost feel a little bit of shame being unhealthy. And I think that's
weak.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And I wonder if, and I mean, this might just be me internalizing things, but I do wonder, even being within this industry where it's always, we know how to take care of ourselves. We know how to stay healthy. We know what the actions are, what the diet needs to be, what the supplements need to be, that whole thing.
So I think, fail.
Well, that's the thing. I think especially within this industry where we know all of these things, we've been given the tools, you feel a little weird being like, I'm sick. And especially if it's, I'm sick, my immune system is down, I'm sick and sick and sick, or like I just can't get it back up, because I feel a little bit uncomfortable saying that or sharing that or seeing that in other people, because you feel like it's some kind of failure or some kind of weakness.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm very rarely sick, and it did hit me.
Right.
And so much so that I was one day in bed.
Yeah.
And for me, being in bed, oh my God, during the day, I was like trying to work on the side, because I didn't want to really stop, but I had to.
Yeah.
And then you realize that, whoa, I feel ashamed because I failed. I'm doing the right thing.
Which is so silly, right? Like, we need to be able to accept that. And I think we need to be able to support that as well, right? When people are, you know what? It happens, and you take your time, and we'll all be here when you get, like that whole mentality. But it's hard. Yeah. To take on that mentality and to accept that and to really live that and breathe that.
And I just wanted to take a couple of minutes to discuss quickly my recipe. But honestly, when I travel, what I always have with me, usually, and keeps me going through the, all the traveling that I'm doing, definitely I always have my BioSteel that I have in my water. Hydration is key, because people take a lot of supplements, but sometimes they forget the basic, that if you're not hydrated, you will feel very crappy. And if you get sick, that's really what I took, I would say, the whole time, because you're not so hungry. Yeah. But I had like ice water, and I had that, and honestly, I didn't have a headache. I didn't have anything like that, because I kept myself hydrated. I like the Suro elderberry syrup, which is a very good one, like a staple.
I have to, before you move on, so in my household, Suro it's like the end all be all. I always have one of these in the fridge. And anytime anybody even coughs or, Mom, my throat's kind of dry, I'm like, take your Suro. Like, my kids know it well enough that I can just send them off. They can take it themselves. But that has been a real winner for us, for sure. That's one of my faves.
Absolutely. And one that a brand, St. Francis, that I really like is the Stop It Cold, the spray that you can put in your throat. And I like that when I travel, because even when I have nothing, to be honest, when I get on the plane, I do it. And if I have a long flight, I'll pump it a couple of times. And I swear this has saved me. And
I've not used this one before.
Well, exactly. You need to try that. And it reminds me of the whole remedy when my mom was concocting some mixes when I was younger. But I got sick and I didn't have it with me. And usually it's the only flight that I did that I didn't use it. And I do that. And right now I'm using also the Respirafect, which is if you have like a very wet cough.
Yeah.
So that really helps so you don't feel like you're, killing your lungs.
Yeah.
But it's very efficient, easy to use. And that's sort of my little quick go-to when I travel that I like to use.
We've done a lot. So this Stop It Cold that Julie's talking about is a spray from St. Francis. We've done in my house a lot of the beekeeper's throat spray.
Yes.
Too. So similar idea, different ingredients and whatnot. But yeah.
Yeah, there's many options out there. I do use Beekeeper as well. I really like the brand too. So I alternate, but this is my last product that I've used. So
the other big one in our house, super basic, just vitamin C, chewable vitamin C's, and do it like it's open game for my kids. If you're feeling sick, chew one every hour, chew one every 2 hours, like just get it into your system, get that into your system. And the NRC is to get more of the other vitamins and minerals.
And easy to travel too.
Yeah, right? Just whatever you can do.
So don't feel ashamed, don't feel guilty. It happens to all the best of us. And it's not because your routine of taking care of your health is bad. It just happens.
Yeah,
so,
we're all susceptible and we can all accept
we're
each
humans.
Other with it. Yeah.
So today we're very excited, Erin. We have Dan with us, and Dan is the new owner of our beloved BioSteel.
Yes.
So Dan, welcome to our podcast, and thank you for making time in your very crazy busy schedule.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate you having me.
So, Dan, I've come to know you with all the discussion back and forth that we've had. And I think from the majority of ourselves and retailers, we're looking to who was the savior of BioSteel. Yeah. And you definitely have a big background as a business entrepreneur, business owner. So, which of your businesses you started first, and did you always have that entrepreneur mindset and tenacity and go-getter?
Yeah, I don't think I did always have that, to be honest with you. The business that I started first was actually they were started very similar in time. So I started what was Canadian Protein at the time was called True Supplements. I had started that TrueSupplements.com, and I had started that website back in, I want to say 2007, 2008, so right around that Great Depression time, and it was not doing that well. And this was before social media. This was before I think Facebook was just starting to kind of come out a little bit or gaining a little bit of steam, and I had recently dropped out of school, so it was kind of oh my God, what am I going to do kind of moment. So and then but I was involved in working out. I was actually working at a gym at the time, and so I really enjoyed taking very specific supplements that I curated myself, and I was always looking for individualized ingredients to bring to the market, and I would always have to source them, or not to the market, but for myself. I would always have to source them from the US because that didn't really exist in Canada. And like I said, the website wasn't really doing all that well because e-commerce wasn't really not nearly what it is now.
It's barely a thing.
And as a result, I opened a store down here in Windsor, and the store did really well because I was, I had I guess I don't want to say an influential aspect in the gym, but, I knew a lot of people in the gym industry, and, they would come to the store and buy product. And it was kind of it was more of a product that I was making myself. I was literally making the product in my house and putting it on store shelves back in the day. Pretty much. I was making protein product, and I put it right on a store shelf in the store. And lo and behold, I didn't have any idea of the regulations and all that type of stuff at that point in time, but the store was doing very well. And then I started to gain a little bit of notoriety on a couple of fitness and nutrition discussion boards online, which was the popular social media outlets of the time. And then the website actually started picking up. I closed the store down and sold it. And at that point in time, right around then, obviously being a dropout, not knowing what was going to come of my future, I had saved up a good chunk of money from even my childhood and working all the time, throughout high school, even in later years of grade school, especially high school, even outside of high school and university, I was working multiple jobs, and I had saved up around I think the exact number was like $182,000.
And that exact number, right?
I literally, I remember that.
I know what I had.
Yeah, I remember that. And I took that money and I bought a package of real estate in Windsor, Ontario, with that, and I used that as a down payment. I remember at the point in time, I even sold my car to come up with the legal payments or the closing costs to do
all
it.
In.
I was all in. I was like literally all in, and then so that ended up happening, and that's how I got into the real estate game. So it was very very close in time from the supplement game to the real estate game that I was involved in, and then the supplements I started to have it made with contract manufacturing in the States. I ended up finding out the contract manufacturer in the US was using a portion of soy product in my protein product. So I immediately stopped that. Now, don't get me wrong, this is way back in the day. This does not exist now. But this is way back in the day. I stopped that. I brought it back in-house, back into the country, had it made by a company, I believe it was in Quebec. And I just was not happy with the service, the product. So I ended up rehabbing a couple of my condos. So the package of real estate that I bought was 14 condos during 2008, 2009, during that Great Depression. So I got an amazing deal on them. I rehabbed a couple of those myself, just like watching YouTube videos, changed out flooring, cabinets, bathrooms, all that type of stuff. I took that money after refinancing the equity out of those units, and then I bought my first blender to blend protein in like a 2,000 square foot industrial unit. So
out of your kitchen, at least for now.
not out of the kitchen. So this was a big blender, probably the size of like this desk. So it was I believe it was a 28.4 cubic foot blender, and that's how Canadian Protein got its start, and then the rest is history.
Wow,
so that's the inception of all of it. That's
you're like a jack of all trades,
right?
You're doing. That's very impressive. I never would have guessed that. So you've touched everything and you pivoted, and it's great to see like the constant, like the side of you with the passion for the natural industry and the side of supplements, and then the other side, that investment business, and you keep doing that now. Like you really keep having and adding to that mix.
I find it so interesting that the question was, have you always had this entrepreneurial spirit? And the answer that you gave was no. That's not the answer I was expecting at all. But clearly you've just got this spirit that won't quit. Like your whole story is about, and then I ran into this, so I just did this.
I think it's really interesting when you don't have a background. It's really easy to drive yourself to succeed when you don't have a backup plan. Right. I think it's a lot easier, right? I have a lot of friends that they did graduate school, and for as long as I can remember, they've always wanted to get into real estate, and they've always wanted to start their own business, and they still haven't yet, but they haven't yet because they have a cushy 9-to-5, right?
Yeah. So they haven't had the same necessity.
100%. It was kind of a sink or swim thing for me, right? I don't come from, I don't come from any kind of money, and nobody was going to end up bailing me out. And, my parents were basically like, hey, listen, like, you're not on your own, but
go do it,
figure it out. Yeah. It's on you. It isn't on us, right? So it's easy when it's easier to force yourself to succeed when you don't have that backup plan.
Yeah, I like the all in, and there's no plan B. That's always one thing when at work, when we have plan A. What is plan B, Julie? There's no plan B. It's A, and
we're going to succeed with this.
It's going to happen,
and then you make it happen.
Yeah.
So,
you have to.
What was it that you saw in BioSteel that made you really want to invest in that brand, to grab that brand?
Oh man, this has been quite the ride. Back in I think it might have been September. Clark, my colleague here, I want to say he brought it up. I don't remember. I think somebody else brought it up, but kind of brought it up in a sense of, hey, did you see this? Pretty crazy. And I was like, yeah, crazy, but kind of brushed it off and wasn't really, I guess, all that concerned about it. And then I think Clark brought it up to me and was like, hey, listen, I think we should really entertain this. And I was kind of like, really though? Like, are you actually serious about this? And he's like, no, I really think you should, because the brands are synonymous, but they're also very different.
Yeah.
So Canadian Protein is very grassroots. It's very it's very the brand that offers immense value. There's a lot of SKUs. It's almost like a one-stop shop. Whereas BioSteel is very athlete-centric. It's very, more flashy. It's not your natural health product style brand. It's not your typical health brand. It's more sports nutrition brand. It's very, athlete in-game focused product. And, I wasn't concerned with, the cannibalization of my other brand, Canadian Protein. So I thought that this would be a very interesting brand to bring into the portfolio because of that. And there's also a bunch of things that, once we started to kind of, I guess, unravel the onion, or whatever that saying is, peel back the layers of the onion. A lot of aspects that we'll call it old BioSteel ownership was weak in, we're very strong. We're very strong on the manufacturing side of things. We're very strong logistically. We're very strong with respect to fulfillment. So, and that's what, was arguably their crux, right? And added, a significant amount of costs. And, their team was, couple hundred, whereas we are, in our front office, we're 10, and we're very nimble. We're able to shift extremely quickly, figure things out extremely quickly. There's no bureaucracy in this company. It's me.
Make decisions
right? So if there's any bureaucracy, it's my fault. So
blame it on you.
Yeah, 100%. I at the end of the day, if you're a business owner, you have to accept the responsibility and accountability, right? So there was just a lot of interesting, I guess, advantages that we brought to the table so that we could really leverage this whole situation. But I got to be honest, I never actually thought it would end up on my desk. I have to be honest. I mean, when we were running numbers, we were just, how is anybody actually going to accept what we're submitting here, and how is this actually going to help? And in hindsight, I ended up speaking to some key people that were on the deal of the sale, and they alluded to why we were selected, and it was because of our strengths, our nimbleness, our position in the market, our ability to work with the sales team to facilitate the sale and the transition. They found us very easy to work with. That we weren't, okay, well, this is how it has to be done, and that's just it. We were like, okay, well, if this has to get done here, but we're over here, like, let's find some middle ground that works best for both of us and get the job done. It wasn't like just a hard no or a hard, we're very easy to work with because, we saw that common goal, and we see the common goal for both parties involved, and we strive to accomplish that, and it makes it easy for everybody, right? So we would just, I guess, at the end of the day, easy to work with.
Yeah, that's a tagline that we like to, easy to do business with. So we're great partners.
For sure, 100%.
Yeah, and that's why we're again very excited to have you here, because you come from direct to consumers business, and now working with us to talk to retailers and stores. It's a very different animal for sure.
It really is.
Yeah, it really is. There's lots of learning, and we're definitely happy to work with you and facilitating that, because from what we've done through the past year with BioSteel, we took the brand that was like a professional and athletes and driven, to opening up to anybody that works out and just want to feel better, or even the moms that walk on the street, or kids that don't want to take sugary drink. So I'm very happy for our retailers to be able to have you here today and connect with you, because I think you bring, where for a time, I would say from the time that, BioSteel is on for sale and all the uncertainty in the market, our retailers were like, oh my God, what's happening with the brand? And we just said, just hold on. It's going to be okay. And we're very happy to have you here today to show them, all the background and the hard-working person that you are, and what you want to create with the brand, and all the opportunity for development, because you're, as you said, you're a manufacturer. You have, Canadian protein. So I think that synergy will take BioSteel from what we've done to here for the Canadian market. So I think that talking to that, how do you feel about going to that new consumers? We're there to help, and we're going to work with you, but it must have been this is very different animal here.
It's man, is it different. It's to be honest with you, it's so different that obviously you've been great to work with, Julie, and your team. To be honest with you, you're great. I can tell why you're successful. You're a great distributor. You pick up the phone, and
when I shop,
you answer. Yeah, you answer, and that's important, right? I one of my buddies that's very successful in actually real estate. He's only been involved in real estate, but he always says, you can tell the level of success either that someone has or will have by the way that they communicate and the way that they answer their calls or deal with communication. So my hat's off to you there. But
thank you.
Yeah, I mean, the retail sector has been so different. And what we did from the beginning of BioSteel, there was some employees that were staying on for a little bit of time. We didn't bring in anyone to help facilitate the transition whatsoever. So BioSteel went down from at one point 190 or 200 employees down to, I don't know, 80 or 100 or whatever, down to, maybe 50 or whatever, and then down to none. And now it's just us. So now I brought in, because of that whole retail aspect, outside of specialty, the clubs, the grocery, the gas and convenience, that's not my world. I don't understand that. It's also a very relationship driven world that I don't have relationships in. Now, that doesn't mean that the brand is actually strong enough to maintain those relationships, that we were being contacted saying, hey, listen, we want to keep your product in here, but you got to get moving. Yeah. But one of the issues that I had was we were trying to get so much done so quick that I didn't necessarily understand the rebate aspect, the chargeback scenarios of all of these different retailers. Yeah. So I ended up having to bring in, it's unreal. And I didn't want to get into a position where I'm accepting a certain agreement, but in the back end, not understanding what's actually going to be coming down the pipe. Right. And then lo and behold, you're actually not profitable. So it was important for me to bring in somebody that to handle where I was weak. So we did bring in a couple guys to support that. But from the onset, within the first month, we wanted to take this on ourselves and figure out, okay, who do we actually need, and what type of employee do we have to bring in to help facilitate this and help to grow the brand. And now we're starting to really bring in the necessary people, but it's so important to me for this brand to stay nimble and have to keep a small team, only because I've seen what happens when you don't. And the alternative is what just happened and why I now own it, arguably. So yes, the retail world is it's very different. It's I can't even I'm only a month and a half in, really, but it's an outrageously different animal than obviously direct to consumer. And I do have a little bit of experience because the Canadian Protein is in Costco, and we actually and we make products for the one of the bigger pharmacies in the country, but we understand that from a market or a manufacturer's perspective,
standpoint,
which is different than a retailer.
Yes.
And then from Costco's perspective, that's one retailer that does very large business, but is also arguably, to some extent, fairly easy to work with. It's
Very
kind
simple.
of
It's a very
cut or dry with
specific
them.
methodology.
Yeah.
It's a very, this is what we need and this is what we think you're going to be successful with. Just do it. You have some negotiation, but
And
it's
that
what you're looking at.
process, you can't take that specific Costco process and overlay it over all top of
No,
other retailers.
because in our industry, as we know, is every door is a different model.
Yeah.
And that's why our team is in the store constantly and doing that, the model that every one of them.
That's why that experience counts so much.
Well, that's it, right? And that's why the partnership is so important. And it's very exciting because, not that I want to jump the gun, but I know that we might have access to your Canadian Protein brand too, which is pretty fantastic because you have such a wide range of ingredients and products out there that even we're talking about maybe innovation for BioSteel as well, that you'll have the capacity to do that. So I think from a story that has been a bit scary for our retailers and our partner, what we're telling you today is, Dan here has a lot of potential to work with us in developing it and making it way bigger and bring onto the market other products. So I think you are open to that, correct?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely going to leverage my expertise and maybe a couple of things to clear the air here, because I have heard some, interesting rumors. I've heard that NutriBlend is not working with us or not willing to work with us. That's absolutely not the case. I talk to Jack, the CEO, probably every day. They're currently manufacturing more SKUs for us right now, that we don't have inventory of, and that we want to bring, more in. So they're currently making product for us, and there's no issues there. With respect to the RTDs, same thing. I've got POs in; they've been accepted. I'm actually meeting. I'm driving up to the facility Friday to meet with them, so that's not an issue. And then not only that, say for example, Jack over at NutriBlend said, "Hey, you know what? We're not going to work with you. We don't want BioSteel anymore. We're not going to work with you." I have 2 manufacturing facilities. That's not going to, it'll affect things, but it won't really that much because I could make my own product.
Yeah.
And with respect to the RTDs, if we had to source a different outlet, fine. I've been in the industry for 15 years. I know a lot of people. We'd get the job done. It's as simple as that. I mean, we would just make it work. And I think what ends up happening is a lot of these other, it's a cutthroat business. It's a fight for shelf space, and anything that you can throw in the mix to, maybe put a crux in whether or not, a certain product is going to be allowed on that shelf again, or that, maybe you can provide a little bit of a level of uncertainty so that a different brand, can fight for that shelf space a little bit easier. And they're just going to throw out these rumors. I get it. I understand it. I respect it even. But at the end of the day, it's unrealistic because my bases are covered. Not only that, but I'm also sitting on $40 million in inventory.
Yeah.
So
we're covered.
I'm covered.
We're okay.
Yeah, I don't have every SKU in stock. I might not have every flavor. I might not have that, what is that? The green one, the lemon lime or whatever behind you there,
yeah.
Julie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lime.
Yeah. Maybe I don't have that particular SKU in that size, but I've got that rainbow twist there. So like I have so much product.
Yeah.
It's outrageous. I have so much product. I can't even bring it down to my couple 100,000 square feet facility because there's so much. I have to keep it at these 3PLs. So there's a level of there's some level of certainty for the retailers to give some peace of mind that BioSteel is not going anywhere.
Well, I think, and I'm happy you bring that up. And I think I was so relentless after you to keep things going, because definitely there was chatter out there for sure, because you're the top selling hydration brand out there in Canada, and you're the brand that everybody wants. So as soon, and I've heard that like a lot of people were trying to destabilize us in a way of, they're not going to come back. And I was like, nope. We're in.
You watch.
You watch. And I was telling to the sales team, you watch. It's there. It's going to be the right partner. And I mean, just from the intro that you gave, I think that's going to give a lot of certainty to the retailers out there to continue to support and expand the brand, because I have faith that with what you said as well, no matter what happened, there's no plan B. It has to work. And that's how we operate at Purity as well.
That's exactly it. We've got a ton of retailers that really want to see the success of this brand, that love this brand. So hearing from you, developing that confidence for them that like, hey, this is going to happen no matter what. And here's how we can pivot. I mean, even just your whole story about, well, if we get there, then we pivot and here's how we succeed. Yeah. That gives the confidence, I think, that people are looking for to say, I still love this brand. I'm still going to support this brand and stand behind it.
There's always the little, I would say, child in me that says, just watch. Yeah. Just watch us going. So, right?
I'm okay with the underdog story. It's been the story of my life. I'm okay with it.
Fantastic.
Do you have any current already plans for innovation in terms of possibly even bringing Canadian protein into some of the BioSteel line?
No, I want to keep the brands completely separate, to be honest with you. I don't think it's a good idea to intermingle them. What I think would be interesting is if you go to your retailers and say, hey, listen, you know what? I think this would do very well in my store under BioSteel or another brand or whatever. I can create that like this. It's so easy turn those. Yeah, it's so easy for me to turn those taps on. I can do exclusives. What we're very good at is being ultra efficient. So that allows us to, do things like that, create limited time products and, limited time flavors. I mean, we run, an eggnog protein, around Christmas time, and we run a mini egg flavored protein around Easter, and we run what's the popular Starbucks drink flavor there? Pumpkin spice or whatever.
Pumpkin spice, yes.
Yeah, we run that. Yeah, we run that around the fall, and these flavors do so well.
Yeah,
and it's so easy for us to create those bespoke flavors that I could create something on it. I think from inception to actually having product on a store shelf is about 8 weeks.
Wow,
that's fast.
That's great. That's the speed we like to work at.
Yeah, so we can. Give or take a couple things, right? But if it's a custom formula with custom ingredients, but if it's a custom flavor, 8 weeks. So we're super nimble and we could do a lot of cool things. That's for sure.
I see lots of projects. I always see the list in my head. So you're going to receive a lot of communication, because definitely for the market too, it's a good way to differentiate. And as a consumer, we like to have something different. Like you have your staple that you want to have the flavor all the time, but then through the years, it creates those spike and create in-store activity, some fun. So definitely
for sure.
It's something to speak around. It's those limited time things are great.
If your retailers want to see a different style of packaging, I mean, I'm very open to constructive criticism and suggestions. And I want the brands to succeed. I want them to have staying power, and I think that it's so important to listen to the key people that are selling the product. And I think you're stupid if you don't, to be honest with you. So I love love feedback, especially from retailers and distributors or whatever, customers, you know, a single customer, it doesn't matter. I like it all. And I think that's one of the strengths of what built the other brand is that we take that customer feedback serious, and we don't just you know, put it on the back burner or whatever. And we listen to people and we just, 100%.
Exactly.
How would you not listen to that? Yeah. I think you're a fool if you don't.
Well, the retailers will love you. I'm sure of that.
Yes.
I'm just hearing them saying,
okay, say.
We're ready after the podcast. They will make their list of comments and ideas. So be prepared.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. I'm up for it. That's for sure.
Awesome.
So we're hoping we can run you through a few rapid fire questions just to get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah.
You up for that?
Yeah.
Awesome. Sure. So what would you say are 3 non-negotiables in your daily routine?
Number 1, I would probably have to say I have to work out. That's probably a non-negotiable, which, to be honest with you, I've been a little slacking because of this takeover here, but admittedly, that's a big one. I like to, I like working out. I've got to eat. I get that hangry going on when I don't eat. And I don't need a lot of sleep, but I need good quality sleep. So I would say that those are probably my 3 non-negotiables, to be honest with you. And just those 3 things allow me to pull 20-hour days.
Yeah. That's the pillar. Yeah, definitely. I hear you with sleep. It's the same. I don't need a lot of sleep as long as I can, you know,
just got to be good.
Yes. At Purity, we're all about, you know, lifestyle and making, you know, better choices and things like that. So you talk about exercise. What is your type of activity? What working out are you doing?
I like weight training.
Yeah.
And then, you know, maybe 20, 30 minutes on a Stairmaster. That's about it. Nothing crazy. I mean, I've done some crazy stuff. You know, one of my buddies was he's part of the True team up in Kingston. Before he was on that team, we went through the training together, you know, in the gym, prepping him for that, you know, Hell Week or whatever. And I did that with him. So, but other than that, I don't do anything crazy like that. But for me, I like being able to go away and take my shirt off, but not have to diet for 16 months. I don't know about you, but I think stairs is the easiest way to get that heart rate up and to really get your cardio in.
When I used to do a bodybuilding competition, and I've seen those stairs, and now when I see them, it's like I'm not ready yet. I'm still at the stigma of it.
You'll have PTSD from the stairs.
PTSD from the stairs.
For sure, no doubt.
The really hard things do not scare Dan.
Exactly.
What's your favorite current health trend?
I'm not exactly one for trends, to be honest with you. I'm very much more tried and true. You know, even though it doesn't look that much, but lift heavy, you know, just get your heart rate up, you know, less calories than you're taking in, you'll lose weight, like simple stuff, right? But one of the things that I am into right now is cold showers.
Oh yeah.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah, and the way that I ended up, I think I saw something from Andrew Huberman, and he was explaining that, he's good at, he was explaining that, because a couple of my buddies are getting all these tubs for like ice baths and stuff like that. I'm like, I can't, first of all, they buy these things and they never do it, or maybe they do it the same day that they get it, and then they never do it again.
And that's it. Close for winter.
Exactly. But then I saw this one thing from Andrew Huberman where he said, all you really need is, I think, 11 minutes per week in uncomfortably cold water, which is just as cold as when you crank that shower tap to cold and get in it. So I do 3 minutes every morning in very cold water in the shower, and that's it. And the reason why I started doing that, because he got into a little bit more where it helps with improving immune system and stuff like that. At that point in time, I started to kind of get a little bit sick. I could feel myself, and I was like, and this was right around I was taking, you know, I realized that the deal for BioSteel was accepted and I had to do a lot of work. So I was like, I don't have time to be sick right now. So maybe I'm going to try this. And I don't really like, I like to really, I'm not one for getting all I like to try not to take medication if I don't have to. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to try these cold showers, see if they work. I ended up not getting sick. So there you go.
There you go.
So yeah. So, I mean, do I think anything is happening physiologically? I don't know. But I tell you what, the mindset that you need, I've been doing it for, I don't know, 2.5-3 months now. I still got to hype myself up a little bit.
It's hard making that decision to really even just turn that knob to cold and staying like it. Yeah, you're heavy. Right. It's a mental game really every time of like, okay, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, it's very different. When I used to live in Quebec, we had the access to a lake, and you just had to go jump in, right? And I've done that because I'm a little bit of a polar bear attitude person. I love that cold. I like shocking my system. And that was great. And I think it's easier to jump in the river like that than, the tap is like you need to turn it and just say, I'm going to suffer. Or I'm going to yell for a couple of seconds. But I love that. That's good.
Getting out of that warm bed, man, doing that. It's heavy. I remember the first couple times. I remember the second time I almost passed out a little bit. My heart, like instantly your heart rate starts going up. Yeah.
It's nuts. Like I remember when I started to do it back in the shower, you get your heart rate, you're out of breath. And it's like, oh my God, like am I going to pass out here?
It's also hard not to get out. Like that's the difference between if you jump into that water, you've made that decision, you're there, versus when you're in the shower, you could make that choice. And then you're still like, oh, I could step back. You have to like hold yourself in there. Okay, I'm going to get there. I'm going to get there.
That's a good one.
A couple times was intense. It's still intense every morning, but the first couple times, man.
Yeah.
It was intense.
You really got to force yourself.
Yeah, you'll have to jump in the river soon. It's a fantastic experience. When you get out of there, you just feel brand new. It's unexplainable. It's very, very good. Yeah, love that.
I'll have to try that.
Yeah. As an entrepreneur, like what would you say to, like, what was your biggest learning through the years?
Jeez.
Many learnings.
The rapid fire got me. I definitely like the aspect of not having a backup plan, but I don't necessarily advocate for it. If you're not the type of person that can stomach, what actually is needed to be successful, it's going to be a very hard road for you. In order to be, you could probably relate to this, Julie. So, when I've never done a bodybuilding show or a fitness show, but I've gotten to the point where, I've been, I've done photo shoots or whatever. So I've been ready. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like when anybody asks me, what does it actually take to be successful at running your own business? The only thing that I could say to them that is relatable, because it's just not relatable, is find an image of how you want to look and do that. And that's the amount of dedication that it takes. That's the amount of sacrifice it takes. And that's the level of commitment that being successful and being a successful entrepreneur would take. So if you want to know what it actually takes, change the way you look. And that's probably somewhat similar to what would be needed, but not just for 12 or 16 weeks. Do it for the rest of your life.
Yeah. And pick up the phone at any time, right?
Exactly that. And then also, so people always ask me as well, like I get this question, what is it actually, how do your days feel? And another thing that I could, I think relate to people with is every day that I live feels like the night before a big exam. And the reason why is because I always feel like not everything is done. I always feel like I could do more. And I'm going into this test the next day and unknowingly if I'm prepared or not. So that's also something that I also
that's living on the IJ.
Yeah, that's also
I feel that
because we've all been through exams, right? Everybody knows, or tests or whatever. Everybody knows that feeling that you get. That's how I feel every day. I think a lot of entrepreneurs, when they actually think of it, they feel the same way, because there's always something else that could be done. There's always more that you could do. You're laying in bed still thinking about it, and you're not able to just turn it off, right? So I think that's also a very relatable thing that people could say. And then also the diet and nutrition thing, right? It's everybody knows that, food is, an avenue of becoming how you want to look, but not everybody's able to do it. Not everybody wants to go smash weights for an hour in the gym and do that. They do that kind of work, but that's what it takes, So I think that those two things are an interesting, relatable situation that I like to use as to tell kind of a story of how I feel.
It's amazing and right on. I can feel, I hear myself speaking. Yeah. And it's discipline, right? Because everybody is like, oh, I want to do like what you do, or I want to go on stage, or I want to be, as you said, that lean, or I want to do this. But then you say, sure, here's the discipline and here's what you need to do.
This
and
is what you're signing up for.
See ya.
Yeah.
Next, right?
Yeah, it's not for everybody.
Yeah, so true.
That's why the New Year's resolutions never work out, right? So,
yep,
the perfect example.
Right on.
You want to know how hard it is? Just take a look at the gyms in January, and then take a look at them a few weeks or months later. That's how hard it is.
Yeah, exactly. Significantly decrease.
And then on top of that, the people that actually stick around, see if they're progressing, right? Because maybe they're there every day, but at home when they start putting, when they start stuffing food in their mouth, it's not working for them.
And it's continuing that challenge, right? I mean, anybody can figure out, okay, well, if I do this many reps at this weight, but then you get used to that, and you have to push yourself out of that. You have to make it uncomfortable. You have to build on that.
But and it's that day to day, because I think I've seen that saying a million times because of January, of course. There's motivation and there's discipline, right? You can be motivated for a couple of weeks because, I have a trip and I want to be on the beach and look great. But it's actually a lifestyle.
It's choice.
It has to be.
Exactly. It's a lifestyle, and it's a choice that you make every day. As you say, right? The day starts and it's a repetition, and you always have to, do better, but you have to be consistent with that. Mm-hmm. You need to say, well, yes, that cocktail looks great, but if I wanted that result, there's no cocktail in my mix of, diet and everything. Yeah. So, and it really shows a mindset. And I think as a successful entrepreneur, if you don't have that mindset, you can't. I haven't seen people really succeed that way otherwise. Yeah. Wow. Nice.
It's necessary.
It is.
We've seen a lot of your social. It's very direct, very interesting.
Yes.
What motivates you to be so transparent about your business decisions and where you're going with things?
For reasons we actually discussed on this this podcast, because if you're not telling your own story, then someone else will. And if I'm not going to let that happen. I think it's important for people to understand how I think. I think that a lot of people can learn from how I think. I think because there's a lot of people that are in my shoes, because I don't come from an entrepreneurial family. I don't come from from, I guess, lack of a better term, money. I don't feel like I had an entrepreneurial spirit growing up whatsoever. I thought I was gonna, I was good at math, but I thought I was gonna, go work in the engineering department at GM, because that's where, my dad, worked. He worked at the GM transmission plant here, and that's what I thought I was just gonna do, and that just never panned out. But I never once thought I would own my own business. So I think that from my story, I think there's some learnings for people that I can relate to, because I think there's a lot of people that are in my shoes than not, to be honest with you. And I think I'm just relatable. I don't like to beat around the bush, and I think I say what I say because I say what I say because I do what I do, and I experience what I experience, and whatever has gotten me to this point has obviously worked, and it's not a mistake. And and I also think that my mindset brings a different element, because I think a lot of people are arguably afraid to say what I say to some extent. And I think that's also important for people not to be afraid, because we live in a society where people are afraid to say what they actually think.
Absolutely. Which is refreshing. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's important to kind of, explain and get out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as a last rapid fire question, but an easy one, what's your, maybe, well, maybe not. Yes. What is your favorite BioSteel product? We're going to let you in a very easy one, hopefully.
The Cream Pop RTD. Have you guys tried that?
No.
Oh, man. No? Oh, yeah. You got to try that. Yeah, this one right here. It was exclusive to one of the gas and convenience guys, but I want to bring that back.
Maybe a keeper, yeah.
Yeah. I am very much an orange flavored. I love orange, and man, that thing right there is something. Obviously, prior to taking over BioSteel, I hadn't tried all of the flavors or whatever, but I haven't. Obviously, maybe I'm biased, but I haven't tried a flavor that I actually don't like. If they did something well, it's formulating that product. That is for sure. They did a very good job. And we have our own lab. We formulate our own products. We don't outsource that. We do it all in house. And understanding the process and understanding, good tasting product. That's a good tasting product. Like BioSteel is a very good tasting product.
Yeah,
it really is.
I think it's an excellent point that you're making, because there's no flavor that is bad. Like you can have preferences, and I think that's what has been always the strength. And when you look at all the other hydration drink or on the market, some have like bitter taste, and you're just like, nah, that's not that great. But we all buy all the different flavor. Yeah. But that one there, I'll remember that because that looks like a very good one, and we haven't tasted that one. Like so I was like, what?
It's so good. Honestly, it's so good. It's crazy good. It's honestly crazy good.
Awesome. Well, Dan, I can't thank you. Well, we can't thank you enough for this time. It has been such a great pleasure to get to know you better and to be very generous with your time. And we're so excited to continue to grow the brand with you.
Yeah,
I think
great places.
Yes, exactly. It's just the beginning, and our retailer will be pumped. Yeah. And I know that they will be so excited to work alongside with us and you. So thank you so much.
Thanks so much,
Dan.
I
appreciate it. I'm very excited to work with you guys and your retailers as well. And I'm excited to meet them. And if they have any suggestions or constructive criticism, I'd love to hear it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Time for some new to Pure Life.
Exciting.
We've got this new brand, Smith Farms Natural Skincare. So this is pretty neat. They've got a bunch of facial care. They've got a night cream. That's a mist, I believe, that facial mist that you've got there. Some hand cream, some lotion. They're really picky about their ingredients. So that's something that's nice. I mean, I think we're always looking for that. Two sisters live on a farm, Smith Farms. That's where the idea comes from. And they're based out of Quebec.
I knew that, which is
near and dear to your heart.
Yes, very much. And I think the brand is really like as ingredients is more, I would say, suggested to sensitive, reactive skin, right?
Yeah, good for rosacea, eczema, that sort of thing. You have to try this hand cream. It's super rich. Actually, it's called Vitamin Rich Hand Cream.
And it's a nice tube.
Yeah. I feel like you always know it's going to be super rich when it's in a good tube like that. But really nice. And their night cream, also very nourishing. Rich. Yeah. I used this one last night. I was a little bit nervous about how heavy and thick it was, but man, it absorbed right in and very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, it's a very, I would say, simple line when you look at the design of it, which is nice because it's kind of clean. And I like that look for people who have sensitive, reactive skin.
Yeah, it makes sense for that.
Exactly. There's no fluff, simple. No muss. Exactly.
Yeah.
And one of the other product that I'm showing here for those who are listening, the mist is actually beautiful scent. It's almost, there's cardamom as a spice in it. And it's really nice with the mix of orange kind of inside. So you can use it as definitely for setting makeup or refreshing during the day. And one thing to note is people with eczema or psoriasis during the day, the dehydrated part or irritated part of their skin gets really dry and almost burn.
Right.
This will really help to soothe and to really refresh the skin. Or if you have a bad cold and you have, use tissue around your nose so much that you've irritated, that's really beautiful. So that's a beautiful product too.
And you were saying about the scents too, what I like is they're scented, but not heavily. Like it's just a very nice light sense.
Yes, absolutely. So it's definitely a must try, and put it in your face care section, but also into more of a therapeutic, because people who have skin issue will be looking into
that this is an option.
Absolutely. Yeah, good catch.
Great.
Very good. And not to forget, but we have our great 40th anniversary in Vancouver on February 6th. So make sure to come and celebrate with us. We'll have such a great time. And we'll also have the tabletop for those who wants to participate and chit-chat with our vendor partner.
And you can RSVP. So there's a link in the show notes here. So RSVP and come join us. Celebrate with us.
Absolutely.
End of a great episode. It's cool to have Dan here. Yes. That was a fun one.
That was a treat. Yes.
So don't forget to like and subscribe, follow us, and check us out on Instagram. So I'm at Erin G. Macklin, and Julie is at
JD_Girl Power.
And we are together united at Purity Life Health Products LP. We want your feedback as always. So email us at marketing@puritylife.com. We want to hear what you think. We want to hear what you want to see next. So let us know. And next week, we have Kim LeBeau, who is vice president and co-owner of LeBeau. And that should be a good one, too.
Strong women out there. That would be great.
Thanks for joining us.